Another area of untapped ROI can often be found in the supply management. Ms. Marquez, let's throw down on some supply chain.
Yeah.
Contract management, strategic sourcing, supplier order management. Why so many names?
It does get a little bit confusing, but I think the most important thing to know is that each of those that you just listed is essentially a module within supply chain. You have contract management, sourcing, supplier portal. They really encompass all of what we call supplier order management. While they can be implemented separately, and this is one of the things to kind of bear in mind, they really do function at their best and bring the highest level of value to an organization if they're implemented together. And I know I think Brian Depew mentioned, seeing contract management as a focus in those phase twos for clients. And really we see sourcing and supplier portal kind of rolled into those as well.
Is the rumor true that you have successfully integrated contract management with DocuSign? And if so, what possessed you to build this solution Frankenstein?
Yeah, no, it definitely is true. I started a public sector project back in the fall of 2021, and throughout the duration of that project, we got word from Infor, hey, this is ready to go. And that was one of this client's biggest kind of hot buttons, is they wanted a solution that would be able to integrate with their document signature process. So we kind of hacked it out a little bit, learned as we went, and it ended up being one of the easiest components to that implementation for that client. They are very pleased with how seamless it really kind of fit right into their contract approval structure. So they were able to take that portion of their business process and layer it into the contract approval, which was an enhancement for them. They didn't have that in their previous Lawson state, and kind of run with it. Gave a lot of visibility to the leaders within the organization. We've mentioned IDM a couple of times, and I think it's helpful for our viewers to know that if you're integrating DocuSign, IDM stores those signed documents right in document management. So if somebody has the security and the level of access, they can retrieve those documents and see a really nice summary sheet from DocuSign, as well as that signed contract.
It actually sounds like a wonderful solution. There's been a lot of hype surrounding inventory intelligence. Does this mean that storerooms will someday take over the earth, and should we be afraid?
Definitely don't be afraid. I think it's a pretty unique solution within the CloudSuite modules. And we've had a couple of clients that have implemented it recently, and we've tend to see a similar strategy among those clients. I think it's helpful to know that that solution itself is really best used when it's looking back 364 days at your data. But our approach is really, let's get it set up, right? Set it up in the system. That way, those scheduled jobs or reports, they're continuously running throughout, your first year, month, 6 months, whatever, on the CloudSuite application, and it improves the metrics that you're getting over time. So the inventory intelligence is looking back at that PAR and inventory replenishment, and to say, yes, we're going to, follow this recommendation day one is a little bit difficult, because your trends that are being reported are going to be on whatever's coming over from your legacy system or has come into CloudSuite through your data migration. So it's not going to really be that true picture. But a lot of those clients, like I said, they get it set up. And then later on down the road, in those types of phase two type, dive deeper, they can really then analyze the data, see what the trends are with the items. Additionally, you can kind of dig into it and see if there are any processes that needs improvement based on your inventory processes itself, which ultimately could impact savings through labor cost reductions. Melissa just spoke to, the labor costs for organizations. So it really does tie in nicely, given a larger period of time, to be able to have the system analyze that data.
So there's a key takeaway there, that it'll work better with a data set that was built within the system that is analyzing, and not
Absolutely.
imported from one that had different transactions. Now,
100%.
I say recall management. You say item lifecycle management. Stout says potato. Why can't we all get on the same page?
I think that the recall management was kind of the ways of the past, and we're really focusing on the terminology of item lifecycle management going forward, which is again one of those kind of unique solutions that we see some folks kind of adding on as those phase 2 type projects. We generally see the item lifecycle management, or as you would call it, recall management, in the healthcare space. I think it's really helpful for viewers to know that there are a lot of nuances in creating the structure for your item lifecycle management. And so when we have these larger organizations, you really do need to take the time to focus in on how that structure is developed, what users you have brought in, because changing it down the road or kind of peeling it back after you've brought it live is no bueno. Not good, pretty difficult to do. So definitely that's one of those areas that you really want to be looking at with fresh eyes and with a broad picture understanding.
Right, and this is something that happens pretty commonly in a healthcare setting where you have something that's deployed throughout your organization that you need to bring back for whatever reasons, for expiry or maybe for potential harm, and it's a mad scramble, right? So this is a way to
Right.
not only how to make that process more efficient, but make sure you got them all, right? Patient safety
Exactly.
first.
Yep.
Now, there's a lot here. Are you
Mhm.
worried that customers might choke on this 7 course menu?
Um, no, because I think we all do a really good job of helping to maintain and communicate the expectations. I can't recall who said it already, but these projects are very detailed to start. Doesn't matter if you're already on a previous version of Infor Lawson. There's a lot of different things that require those subject matter experts' attention. And when we start talking about these additional modules, we really want to focus on, what does the organization need to be operational day one? What do they need to stand, and be successful in conducting business? And a lot of these processes and solutions that we've described, organizations have those, maybe an outside process in place today. Doesn't maybe cause them a lot of pain points. That's a perfect opportunity to say, let's throw this on a list for our phase 2. Let's kind of get that tackled. And I think us as consultants and advisors to our clients as partners, it's up to us to help them, discern how to best approach that. Developing those lists as those items is like a nice to have, and helps to kind of establish what they could look forward to in the future. The projects that are 12 to 18 months, folks are fatigued, and so we want them to focus on what they need to be successful at day one. But it also allows them the opportunity to take a step back and look at these additional solutions with fresh eyes.